Folks, welcome to So Bad It's Good. Listen, right before this, you probably just heard Countess Luann and all of the talk about cabarets and Love Hotel. But now we are moving on with the show. Well, kind of. We're going to do a Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, episode 4 recap. This season, I am loving this season so much, but it gets more and more bizarre each episode. And what is happening? Like where did Mary Cosby make the turn? I feel like it's that scene in When Harry Met Sally where Meg Ryan is pretending to have an orgasm at the deli, and the lady pipes up, "I'll have what she's having. Whatever Mary Cosby is on, I will have what she's having." Because how did she turn into like one of the rays of sunshine of Salt Lake City? It's so bizarre. And yet I'm loving every scene that she's in. It just goes to show you people can change, and we can change in how we look at these characters. I hope you guys are doing good. It's 10:30 at night on Thursday night. It has been quite a week. I just got back from the Us Weekly reality star of the year party that I worked the red carpet for. Pluto TV and Us Weekly did this. So thank you to both of them for having me. And it was one of my first red carpets that I've worked, and made a lot of mistakes. I did some good things, but made a lot of mistakes. But it was a really good learning experience. If you listen to yesterday's show, I talk a little bit about going to this, and I was super nervous. And let me tell you a couple of the highlights. I know I'm going to go into this probably more on the Patreon, and I'll probably play some of the interviews once I have them uploaded, what I got on the red carpet. But the experience, you guys, it's wild. Like I felt like I was drunk the whole time. I haven't had a drink at all, and there's so many people. It's so noisy. You're trying to like people are just getting brought up to you. Do you want to talk to this person? Do you want to talk to that person? And I said yes to everything, but a few of the big ones, I talked to Mr. Jax Taylor. I don't think he knows who I was, and that was actually really interesting. I talked to Brittany Cartwright later in the evening. I was on that carpet. It felt like I think about 3 hours, and it was a small space, so we were all kind of bumping into each other, and so it was hard because I had to work my own equipment, which is always just a recipe for disaster. I need to have a camera guy next time to so I can really focus, because it was just a whole nother thing added on top of it. So I'm not really sure what I got. I talked to Karen Huger. I talked to Miss Kyle Richards. I didn't talk to Alexis and John Jansen. They were there, and yeah, they were there, and I was talking to somebody else, but I overheard them right next to me saying, we want to keep this positive, we want to keep this positive. So I don't know how I would have kept that positive, but I'm sure I would have found a way. I talked to Cordell from Love Island. There were a lot of people that were supposed to be there that I don't know if went straight to the party, because there was a party upstairs after you made the red carpet. And I only went to the party a quick second because I am beat. I went and saw Kyle Cook. He was the DJ of the event, and I talked to Kyle on the red carpet, but I got to see him DJ for a minute, and then I got out of there so I could come home and work on this with you guys and talk about Salt Lake. Who else? I mean, I talked to Jen Tran, the Bachelorette from this season on Dancing with the Stars right now. Talked to Lindsay Hubbard. She looks so beautiful. Talked to Kristen Doute. I talked to Janet and Jason from the Valley. I talked to I talked to Teresa Caputo, the Long Island medium. I almost talked to Abby Lee Miller. She's in a wheelchair, and it just didn't work out. Like we were like kind of like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I was talking to somebody, and so that didn't work out, unfortunately. I talked to Monica Garcia. I talked to Reality Von Teese, and I talked all about we talked a lot about like House of Villains, but also this season of Salt Lake, because she hasn't fully caught up on it. But I mean, she really swears up and down that, yeah, she didn't say, but I think Lisa Barlow, Heather Gay, and potentially Meredith Marks really threatened to not do the show if she came back. Because I said, hey, my dream is the final episode of this season. We hear a clickety clack, we see shoes, and then we pan up, and it's you. And she's like, that almost happened, and it got stopped. It got stopped. So that was a plan at one point, if we can believe Monica. But I talked to Monica. I think she's going to come on the show. It was just so wild, you guys. It's so hard. Like I feel noises. Like I hear all of the screaming and yelling and over here. That's just still going through my head. So I haven't really processed it. Talked to Spencer and Heidi, Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag. They were my last ones, and they stayed around to talk to me. But then I was just like, get up to the party. It was. Yeah, I talked to Christine and Janelle from Sister Wives. I talked to some cast members from The Circle. Just a bunch. It was really cool. But more importantly, I'm glad I did this because it kind of showed how, showed me it was a good testing ground to like to do it better next time, if that makes sense. Or like yeah, I got a more of sense of how these things work, which is that's what I kind of wanted. So it was that a great experience in that sense, but I don't know. Like overall, I just don't know how it went, but I'm just really excited I went and did it. And I can't wait to share some of those interviews with you guys. And I got video clips. I think I got video clips. Who knows? I gotta check. You guys, this job, man, it's awesome, but there are like new challenges every day. The podcast it's not easy. There's a lot of time goes into it, but it's all the other stuff that you have to learn to do. And the social media aspect of it, you just feel like you're falling behind all the time. But it was a really cool experience overall. And thank you to Us Weekly and Pluto TV. Man, Kyle Richards was wild. She has 10 tattoos now. 10 tattoos. I don't know. Sorry, I gotta focus. Also, today I met up with baddie Kate Legako and her sister Kara. We went to Something About Her. I got to eat at Something About Her for the first time, and it was amazing. It really was. I don't know. Like I heard a couple people bitching about the sandwiches. What the F's up with that? Because the sandwiches were delicious. Like it was really, really good. The place was cute. We sat inside. Katie or Ariana were not there, but it was great. I was so happy to visit it. It's a really great lunch spot. Like no joke. I wish I could say, well, I don't wish I could say something bad about it, but yeah, there was nothing bad about it. It was great. Highly recommend. I can't wait to try the other sandwiches because I just had one. I had one and a half. I didn't order, but like I had bites of other sandwiches and they were all great. Oh, the person I was talking to about yesterday didn't show up. Tom Sandoval was supposed to be there. Tom Sandoval was supposed to be there and Tom Schwartz. They both didn't make it. But Jax did say that Tom and Tom are his two best friends. So all of this crap that's happened between them, it has brought them closer together. Bad boys for life. So yeah, that was the one I was really nervous about, but he didn't show up. But I feel like I kept it professional. I don't know. You guys don't care about that shit. You want the dirt. So yeah, I'll try to put together more of my thoughts on that as I process it. Also, did you check out tonight's OC? Wasn't that insane? I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but two revelations. First, the promissory note, I'm really still confused on in regards to the Shannon Bedore of it all. But the big revelation was that Shannon found the text message from Alexis to Shannon saying, you and Tamara coming after my ex. We are going to consult our lawyers. And so literally everything that Shannon said in that first episode was true. And Alexis said it never happened. But we now have proof that it did. Also, John Jansen, it didn't look like he was wearing the Ferragamo shoes that Shannon Bedore bought him tonight. So but that was in case I was going to talk to him, I was going to ask Alexis, are you going to buy John a new pair of Ferragamo shoes to replace the other ones? But I never got that opportunity. It's hard though, folks. I will say it's hard. Like you talk about these shows, right? And you want to talk about just what you see on these episodes and all the insanity, and you want to make fun of it and you want to be silly. And like, me, I want to get insane with it. I want to think, like just be super silly. And then you meet some of these people and it doesn't demystify it completely, but in the same time, you do realize they're real people for better or worse. And I know that sounds like all pussy of me, but you do realize, man, we all go through shit and it's hard. Like when you get to know them, you're like, God, they are real people, because you talk about these shows and what you see and you want to come out swinging and you want to come out hard. And then I don't know, sometimes, my sensitivity, it will get the better of me and you start to feel bad about or for them sometimes, which is ridiculous because they're all doing better than me, most likely. But that's why I'm glad that nobody from Salt Lake City was there on the red carpet tonight, so I can really blast this episode and how insane it was. Milwaukee, man. Milwaukee needed this. And thank God they did not say Milwaukee anymore this episode, I don't believe. But yeah, let's get into this and let's get super silly and dare I say petty about certain things. Just know I'm really tired. And yeah, in case I am cruel at all, just remember that's just the tiredness talking, right? Okay, so this episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, episode 4, and it is entitled The Epiphany. The Epiphany. And now have a show like Real Housewives of Salt Lake City that has a deep religious backdrop, the Epiphany, you almost think of like religious overtones. Like, did God come to one of these ladies and give some sort of like, proclamation? I mean, did God come to Heather Gay and say, you are my spokesperson from here on out? No, it's nothing about that. This is in regards to Brittany saying she had an epiphany about dating Jared Osman, which Brittany, I mean, Brittany's messy and weird. I kind of love, I love everybody on this cast right now. Bronwyn, I mean, Bronwyn's really holding her own, and she's really unique and weird, and I love that combination. Now, the description that the show gives us, or Peacock, because remember, DirecTV gives you a more detailed description, but Peacock gives us a very simple description of the episode. It says Brittany announces news about her relationship. Because remember, I think there was something crazy in Brittany's like first talking head saying that her and Jared Osman have only been dating for 7 months and that they've like split up 17 times or something. And I still don't necessarily understand not just the timeline, but what they actually mean to each other. Because how do you say you're dating somebody for 7 months and then 2 episodes ago you said, hey, he claimed me as his girlfriend, and it's just that they went shopping at Costco together and he put her in the front part of a grocery cart and said, this is my really good friend. That's not necessarily claiming. So were they ever boyfriend and girlfriend? How did it all work? Like, this is why this show is so bizarre, because none of it really makes sense on its face. Like, all of this is, you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of real life in a sense. We got even further information about Mary Cosby and her dad and Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, I was like just waiting for Mary Cosby to say, oh, also my dad had been around the Menendez brothers at a time as well when he lived in Los Angeles. That didn't happen, but we did get further details on the Jeffrey Dahmer stuff, which of course, why wouldn't you? Also, I do believe that Mary Cosby truly does think that Miller High Life is the champagne of beers, which is another very interesting tidbit. Oh my. Oh, and also before we start, we did get good news. If you listened to yesterday's episode, I talked about how Whitney's daughter, Bobby, was in the ICU. Well, we got good news. Whitney posted that Bobby is out of the ICU and recovering at home. She says, so grateful for all of your prayers and healing vibes. We are blessed to have such an amazing community with all of you. And there was a sweet picture of her and her daughter. So that is amazing. We do not have to worry about Bobby this episode at all. And we can just get into the adventures of these ladies in Milwaukee. So we start the episode of seeing beautiful shots of Milwaukee. And by that, I mean this kind of like structure where we see just huge clouds of billowing smoke come out of it. And then all of a sudden it goes, and we hear 5, 6, 7, 8. And you guys, oh, they did it. They recreated the opening of the classic sitcom Laverne and Shirley with Heather Gay and Whitney. This is what I'm talking about. This show is so off the rails that they start with a reenactment of the opening of Laverne and Shirley. I mean, we have fully gone off the reservation and we are in bizarro world. We see Heather Gay and Whitney bad weather together in yellow Miller Lite hard hats, yellow vests, and they're running around the Miller High Life factory. They're like 5, 6, 7, 8, Shamil, Shamalzel. Huff and Haas and Pepper Incorporated. I never even knew how to pronounce that as a kid. I remember they would put reruns of Laverne and Shirley on our local station in Kansas, and they all of a sudden shot to the Welcome Milwaukee Visitors, and they're playing the cheesy sitcom music, and you see Heather and Whitney running with their vests on and smiling. Miller Lite coming down the plant, and it says "The Real Housewives Take Milwaukee" in fun comedy fonts. And we see like it says Heather Gay, Whitney Rose, kind of like a sitcom. The whole thing is just making fun of a sitcom, folks, but you just don't get the laughs that you did with the sitcom. All I keep thinking of is receipts, proof. And I asked Monica, I was like, "Are you tired of saying receipts, proof, timeline?" And she's like, "You know what? I'll tell you what, though. I bet other people are tired of hearing it." So, oh God, I should just put that audio in right now, but I don't think I can grab it. And then it says with Meredith Marks, and we see Meredith and Mary Cosby in their Miller Lite hard hats, and Meredith's like, what's going on? Hey, and then Heather pops in and like, hey y'all, hey, woo. That lasted for a whole minute. This whole bit lasted 30 seconds too long, and then it goes. And we're back to our regularly scheduled programming. And they put up the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City title card. And you guys, I'm still so flippin' confused about this title card. You probably are tired of hearing me bitch about this, but I don't get how this title card has Angie Katzenavas in the middle with the snowflakes, then Mary Cosby, and then Bronwyn, then Whitney, and the other side, Lisa, Meredith, and Heather. But they have a old picture of the rest of these ladies, except for Brittany. But I know they shot all new title cards because they use it in all their promo materials. So why do they keep using these damn cards? Like I know nobody cares but me, but it is like pissing me off because in the new cards, Heather's in the middle and these Angie's in the middle. What happened? Are we punishing somebody? Like, why are we using old photos of Heather when we have new photos? It's literally gonna drive me insane on top of just watching a Laverne and Shirley reenactment. It's too much. It is too much, folks. We start off, we get some rock music, dun 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 dun, and we see Milwaukee haunts. We see a train, runaway train, never going back. Headed to Milwaukee, Miller High Life Factory. Mary Cosby's all happy all the time. We see historic Third Ward, and we are at the Kin Guest House, the hotel that I've never heard of, but might be the nicest hotel in Milwaukee. We open up on Meredith Marks slumbering with her face mask or like kind of whole bed mask. It looks like Angie Katzenavas' sunglasses, except it's just like a complete dark out on Meredith. Meredith seems like she sleeps soundly, like she's all like blanketed in, just like, I'm completely slumbering. I'm dreaming of bathtubs and I'm dreaming of destroying anybody that comes for my bath empire. How dare you? We hear snoring. Meredith lets out a snore. And we see four boxes. Bloop, 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 bloop. All the other ladies are up for the day. Lisa Barlow opens the curtains. And then in room 401, Brittany, is this Maylee or Brittany? I think, Maylee comes in and starts jumping on Whitney's bed of like, morning, we gotta get ready. And Maylee's like, oh, my eye mask, it's got caffeine in it for under eye bags. I don't know a lot about face care, obviously, but like, can you just put caffeine directly into your pores? Am I missing out? Is that another way to get hopped up? Like you can put caffeine in your face? Could you put Red Bull in your face? I mean, this is a whole new thing for just to learn about. Anyways, Whitney's like, that's crazy that you've got an eye mask with caffeine in it. Ha. And then Lisa Barlow is in her room with her glam squad. Now, remember, Lisa is very particular about her glam squad, and she will always travel with glam squad. We remember last season's episode when they went to Palm Springs and she threw a fit at the producers. They're like, I need glam. It's what I've got to do. It is what I need. And if you don't let me have glam, I will not film. So her glam squad is there like, oh my God, how's Milwaukee, Lisa? And Lisa's like, oh my gosh, I love it here. Do we think, by the way, Milwaukee actually does look really cool, but when you just compare it to all of the other housewives trips and exotic locations, it is kind of funny and bizarre, which is what Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is. But I also love how positive these ladies are about Milwaukee of like, oh my God, I wish I had been married here. This is Milwaukee is where I want to retire. Oh my God. They have all my favorite fast food places. But Lisa's telling the Glam Squad, she's like, we went to a Bucks game last night. It was insane. And they're like, how was the game? And Lisa's like, it was so good. And they're like, what's a Bucks? And Lisa's like, a Bucks? It's an NBA game. And she's like, is that NBA? The Glam Squad doesn't seem to be really too up on anything. And Lisa's like, yeah, like our jazz team. Yeah. Basketball. Yeah. And Lisa's like, oh, basketball. I don't even know what the funny thing to laugh at was there, but Lisa's laughing of like basketball, jazz. Yeah. In the other room, we see our new cast member, Bronwyn. She looks hydrated. She has all this like wetness on her face. It's probably some kind of rich facial shit you put on your face. And she's calling somebody on FaceTime, and it's her husband. And he goes, how good was the Bucks? How good was the Bucks? Was the Bucks good? Was the Bucks good? And Bronwyn goes, I don't think I watched a single play from when the game started to when we left. And he goes, must have been some interesting discussion in the suite then. And Bronwyn's like, you could say that. You could say that. And we flash back to last week's episode, which ended with Bronwyn kind of laying down the law with these ladies, even though she's in her first season. She's talking to Heather. She's talking to Lisa. She's like 1-on-2 right now. She's like going back and forth, left and right, handling it both beautifully. And Bronwyn in the flashback from last week saying, Heather yelling about a conversation I had with you and Heather, Lisa. You could have said, I know Bronwyn very well, and that's not how that conversation was intended. And you didn't bother to, Lisa. And then to Heather, she goes, I didn't have that conversation in a vacuum, Heather. You said stuff, Lisa, and you came at me real hard and real strong. Real hard and real strong. The Bronwyn story. And Bronwyn goes, you made it seem very one-sided. But if you want to get away with a little mess, then all of you are going to have to let me get away with a little mess myself. I love that. That's the housewife tagline. You better let me get away with a little mess myself. I'm Bronwyn. So she's back in the conversation with her husband, and she's like, obviously, I was upset with Lisa and Heather about that ropes course lunch, and I had to try to get that straightened out with them. Is that a real sentence that you just hear of like, I had to get it after that ropes course lunch? If I had a nickel for every time I said ropes course lunch. Anyways, her husband being, a good husband just goes, good. Okay. That's very good. Yeah. In a talking head, Bronwyn, which by the way, she's in that outfit, like with all the evil eye jewels and like the feathers on she looks like 101 Dalmatians, but in like a really cool, beautiful, artistic way. And we found out last week on Watch What Happens Live that Christian Siriano designed a couple of Bronwyn's outfits, and he talked about it on the show, which was hysterical because they were talking about, has he dressed a lot of housewives? And he said, not a lot because they don't pay. And then she said, I've done Bronwyn and Bronwyn pays. And I'm like, hell yeah, she pays. Bronwyn is paying her bills. In the talking head, she goes, last night was incredibly intense. I have never fought with Lisa. And with Heather, it's unfortunate that we've started on the wrong foot. But ultimately, I said my piece last night. So I'm hopeful that today we're going to move forward. And maybe we even have fun together. Her husband goes, well, what are you doing today? And Bronwyn goes, well, I don't know. It's a mystery. Then we hear a knock on the door and we jet on over to Mary Cosby's room. Mary Cosby, I think, is flat ironing her hair. And she's like, who's that? And it's Whitney. And Mary Cosby literally goes, Whitney. And when he's like, you're looking good, Mary. And she's like, thank you, Whitney. And Whitney's like, what is this tool you're using? And Mary's like, it's a straightening comb. It's for black girls. And Whitney has her mouth open like, what are they going to invent next? That's crazy. A straightening comb for black girls? That's insane. Like she has this face like, that's like an eye mask with caffeine in it. That's wild. But in seasons previous, Mary Cosby would have been like, "Get out of my room, bobblehead, you idiot. I'm not going to tell you what this special comb is. Get out." But she's like, "Whitney, what up, girl?" I don't know what happened to Mary Cosby, but my God, I just can't tell you how much I love it. Like, I'm smiling in scenes when Mary Cosby comes in. Actual smiling. I'm rooting for Mary Cosby. Who would have ever thunk it? Anyways, Whitney goes, "I just wanted to let you know about the day." And in a talking head, Whitney goes, "As the hostess of this trip, I've taken a lot of notes from my predecessors." And we flash back to last season with Meredith Marks and the Palm Springs trip, where Meredith's like, "Welcome, guys, your Palm Springs." And Whitney's like, "AKA Meredith, we are not going to be coloring t-shirts and playing games in a park. I've jam-packed the last day with the best of everything that Milwaukee has to offer. First, we're going to tour the Miller factory and we'll have a private beer and cheese tasting. Then we are going to have dinner at the Harley Davidson Museum. And finally, we're topping off the night at a drag show I'm hosting at Trixie Mattel's bar." And then in the scene with Mary Cosby goes, "I want to be there. I want to be there for all of it. I want to be there." And you can tell even Whitney's like, "Okay, oh my God, Mary's smiling at me. What did I do to deserve this?" Like, she genuinely looks surprised, but it's like, whoa, even Mary Cosby, like, is Milwaukee this place that just brings out the best in people besides Jeffrey Dahmer? Is that what it is? Is it Milwaukee that has done this to Mary Cosby? I mean, what is it? And when he goes, "Okay, okay, okay, okay." And then you guys just hold on to your coal mining asses. Mary Cosby goes, "Okay, love you," and goes in for a hug. And when he's like, "Love you too, love you too." What? Mary Cosby is the first one that goes, "I love you" to Whitney? I love you? Holy moly. Anyways, Whitney continues in a talking head. "The drag show is what brought us to Milwaukee in the first place. And I just know that tonight's going to be incredible." We finished the scene with Mary Cosby and we're getting more compliments. Whitney tells Mary Cosby, "You look beautiful." And Mary Cosby goes, "You too, you too." And when he goes, "Purple's your color." And Mary's like, "Lilac. Yeah, yeah, yeah." I I felt like I was stroking out. I was like, something's not right. Something feels weird." I was like, "I smell burnt almonds. What's going on here?" Completely. I just never I can't say it to you guys enough. I just don't know what's going on. Then we get a shot of Meredith, like, kind of walking out of her door, like, "What's going on in here? I'm awake. I'm awake, everybody." And she knocks on a door. It's Lisa's. And she's like, "Hey, what's up?" And Lisa's like, "Good morning. What's going on? I'm getting glam." And Lisa's like, I love I love that every scene on the Housewives, you have to start with "You look so pretty." Like, Mary's like, "You look so pretty. It's great. You look so good." Like, every scene, like, Lisa's getting glam. She's not even in her full look. It's like, "You look so pretty." And Lisa's like, "Thank you. What did you think of last night?" And Mary's like, "It was kind of interesting because, I was talking to Angie." "Okay." And she said, "Well, I'm having a hard time because Lisa doesn't seem to want to talk to me now and starts warning me that I should be careful of you." And Lisa's like, "What?" God, I was praying for Meredith to say Alibaba. I just can't get it out of my head from last week when she brought up the Whitney Alibaba and she just kept saying Alibaba. The way she says Baba, Alibaba. Anyways, Lisa's like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then Meredith goes, "And then Whitney joins in. What?" And then another what from Lisa Barlow. And then we do this weird, like, flashback thing of like, "Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo." And we go to that scene with Whitney and Angie at the Bucks game. And Whitney says to Meredith, "She had said some nasty things about you, Meredith." And Angie's like, "Yeah." It's like, I'm fucking Greek. I'm Greek, man. And it's like, she said that you fucked half of New York. She had your feelings about you and your marriage. I mean, knowing what she said about your family, Meredith, you fully feel like you trust her 100% now? And we don't see Meredith say anything. It's just a look like, "Ugh, ugh." So back in this scene, Meredith goes, I mean, it's Lisa, it's like the Twilight Zone. That's it exactly. I keep saying it's like a David Lynch movie. This show is like the Twilight Zone. This show is like Black Mirror. It is like the Twilight Zone. I get such there's an uneasiness mixed with complete like John Waters. I'll never be able to describe the show. And also, I will say this season they're also doing a lot of static shots of just like them looking. Usually you'll fill in a conversation, somebody talks, and then you'll say something yourself and back and forth. There's like a lot of pauses where you just see Lisa just like look, and the music is like dung. In a talking head, Meredith goes, obviously, Whitney and Angie are having issues with Lisa, and they want me to join their team. But Lisa and I have worked really hard to get to a positive place and to forgive each other, and she hasn't done anything new. So why would I get upset with her? I love that. She hasn't done anything new. She hasn't done anything new. I will say these two ladies both have come at each other so hard. So the fact that they are at this place of peace, and it really is another mind-boggling thing about this show. But Meredith's like, what's the point of that? You know? In this scene, Lisa goes, I'm not running to anybody. Everything I've said, I say to their face. So I don't get why they're warning you about me. In a talking head, Lisa's like, I'm completely shocked right now that these two are like trying to like convince people I'm not trustworthy. Who's not trustworthy? I mean, it's like literally like, are you looking in a mirror? Because you're talking about yourself. It's like when you used to play those games as a kid with your siblings, you'd be like, you'd take their hand and you like hit them with their own hand. You'd be like, stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. But Lisa goes, this is a problem for me. And Meredith goes, it's so weird, Lisa. It's so weird. Oh my God. I gotta call Seth. He's at his job in Columbus, Ohio. He's at Big Lots. We found out last week that Seth Marks is like a big VP over at Big Lots in Columbus. I'm Seth Marks. That's right. You've discovered my job at Big Lots, where I'm doing a lot of big lotting over there. It's crazy, but I'm very proud of Meredith. Sexy as hell. Let's get back to the scene. So Lisa goes, they're trying to turn you against me, Meredith. In a talking head, she's like, there's no reason that you should be trying to fuck with my friendship. Like, friendship fuckers. She literally goes, friendship fuckers. I mean, that's a t-shirt right there. Friendship fuckers. Lisa tells Meredith, it's really hurtful. And Meredith shakes her head. Yeah, it is. That's hurtful. It is. Then we have Whitney. Also, these hallways are so dimly lit. It's like that old show Party of Five that I always like, I'll bring up because, it's like these kids had to take care of themselves after the parents died and they lived in like this nice place in San Francisco, but it was always so dimly lit because I was like, God, you guys can afford light bulbs. The reason the show's so fucking depressing is like nobody's actually turning on a light. That's what these hallways look like. Like, I'm like, how is Whitney even finding out where she's like, how are people not bumping into walls? But Whitney's like going down the hall and she's like, knock, knock, knock. Heather, it's Whitney. And Heather's like, come in. I'm just doing my makeup. And Heather goes, I have a surprise for you, Whitney. Close your eyes. Are you ready? And she's like, reveal. And she has a sweater with W in calligraphy, like the old Laverne and Shirley sweaters. And Heather has one as well. So we've gotten props for the trip. And when he's like, oh my God, is it the Laverne and Shirley? Oh my God. And then we have a photo of Penny Marshall and what was her name? Cindy. Who is that actor? Anyways, they're iconic. They have the picture of these castmates, and then they superimpose Whitney and Heather's faces on them. They did this last week with the Golden Girls as well. And I gotta ask them to stop. It's truly, I don't know if this is AI, what's going on, but it's very unsettling. Anyways, Heather goes, I'm Laverne and you're Shirley. And, Whitney's like, can we wear them today? I'll wear this for sure. I'll wear this for sure. And then Heather's like, you can turn it upside down for Milwaukee. It'll make an M, not a W. And then Whitney goes, and then we'll do our dance. And Heather's like, we're going to do it all. This is our day. I know Heather is allegedly the voice of reason and the reliable narrator, but I just don't trust her anymore. I don't trust her anymore. This is our day. You just had that conversation with Meredith about Alibaba the other day, and you have yet to tell Whitney. She tells her later, but I just feel like she's one of those housewives that just collects information. We always have one per cast. Heather in a talking head says, I'm feeling really torn. When Meredith told me about the rumors about Whitney's business, I was hoping that Meredith would bring it up to Whitney. And we flash back to that scene from one day earlier last episode where Meredith goes, Heather, a lot of things aren't adding up right now. They're saying Whitney is using designs off of Alibaba and selling them at like 10, 20 times the price. And Heather's like, are you going to say something to her and offer support? Which is a great like move on Heather's part to say offer support. So she's putting it out there of like, listen, I'm still being a supportive friend to Whitney. Are you going to offer support? And Meredith goes, well, I don't know. That's my place at that point. And Heather goes, well, I think that if it's happening, you should bring it up. And Meredith's like, I don't know. I'm so busy. I've got so many things to do. I don't know if I have time, and women supporting women. I just don't know. I just can't do that. Heather in the talking head goes, but clearly Meredith hasn't. So Heather tells Whitney, when are we leaving? And she's like, shortly. Heather says in the talking head, okay, rumors like this can really hurt a new business. So I think that Whitney needs to know so that she can start doing damage control. By the way, how popular are any of these businesses? Like really, truly, like how much is Prism, Whitney's company, bringing in? How much is Meredith Marx's Caviar bringing in? Like what is, like, honestly, we're like Housewives fans, right? And I bought a lot of shit in my day in regards to Housewives and things of that nature. And I still, like, no offense to Whitney, but I haven't bought anything off Prism. And I love Whitney. I haven't done it yet, but like, is this stuff really selling? Are all these Housewives products selling? How many Housewives products have just gone the way of the dodo bird? And does Heather, I mean, Heather has Beauty Lab and Laser, 2 locations, but does she have any products? We know Meredith has her, like, a lot of products. Anyways, Heather goes, I feel bad. We have a fun day planned in Milwaukee, and I don't want to ruin our trip. She looks overly concerned in the talking head of like, I don't want to ruin our trip, and I just don't buy it. And Heather goes, I mean, is that something Laverne would do to Shirley? No. Okay, so Whitney leaves, keeps walking down the hall, knocks on another door, and Lisa's like, come in, what's going on? Still getting glam. And when he's like, hey, and Lisa just stares because Meredith already came in and just talked shit. And when he's like, we are going to the Miller Caves. And it's pause. And Lisa goes, what do you mean the Miller Caves? And when he's like Miller beer. Miller beer. And when he goes, Laverne Shirley. And Lisa goes, oh, I'm going to pass on that. And when he's like, what do you mean? And Lisa's like, I'm going to pass. And pause. And when he's like, why? I like have other things that I think I'm going to do today. And when he's like, okay, but we came on this trip together. I know. I think I'm going to, what are you going to do? And Lisa goes, I have some ideas. Tin roof rusted. And when he just gives her a look like, say what? And it's just like more stares, just staring, just shots of each other staring at each other. And then when he's like, and Lisa goes, I'm just going to do something else. We'll probably meet up for dinner. And when he just keeps giving this look like, what are you talking about? And when he's like, okay, I'll see you in a bit. And then she smiles at her glam lady of like, haha, did you see how I cleared her? Ah. Okay. So we have some of the ladies going like onto the Sprinter van, into the Black Line limousine Sprinter van. You have Whitney, Heather, Mary Cosby. I think who else is here? I don't know. You got a bunch of the ladies in this, and Mary Cosby comes on and goes, Heather, you look like $1 million. What? Another compliment from Mary Cosby out of nowhere? Like I felt like the Sprinter van was going to crash. Like that's how shocking it is. So somebody asks, or Angie's there. Angie asks, Where's everybody else? And Whitney's like, I knocked on Lisa's door and she's like, I'm not going. And Mary goes, What? I'm sorry, I keep hitting it over. Mary seems so concerned. This is not Mary. Mary goes, What? No, say it ain't so. What? And I said, Why? And she goes, I don't feel like it. Next thing I know, she's gone with Brittany and Maylee. And Mary Cosby goes, Shut up. No, no. And we flash back to just a moment ago where Lisa goes up to Maylee and Brittany going, Do you want to go curling with me? And since you're here, Maylee, do you want to go? And Maylee's like, Do you think Whitney will be okay with us going? And Lisa just pauses and goes, I'm sure she'll be fine. We'll see her at dinner. And Brittany and Maylee, they're new. So they're like, okay, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, Lisa Barlow talking to us? What did we do to deserve this honor? Anyways, Bronwyn in the Sprinter band goes, That is a wild shift to not only go from are we good enough to actually go do, like, are we good enough to go do something, but now we're good enough to go do something and exclude you, Whitney, who invited her as her friend, because Maylee is Whitney's friend, right? In a talking head, Bronwyn in another amazing, like, red Cristiano Siriano dress goes, Maylee and Brittany, like, I don't, this is, I don't know if Lisa just walked down the hall and those were the first two faces she saw, but that would make more sense to me than any other explanation about how she picked who she wanted to spend the day with. No, no. So Bronwyn in the Sprinter band says, I did tell Lisa last night I didn't think she'd been a great friend to me recently, so maybe that's why I'm not on the hot list. And Angie bravely says, I'm not good with Lisa either. We met and tried to talk the day after her party. And we flash back to the first episode or first or second episode when they're at that restaurant. And Angie says to Lisa, listen, at times I do feel like I'm trying to do everything to prove that I'm a good friend to you. And Lisa goes, I am me. I'm not changing. I'm like Lisa Barlow. This is it. This is what you get. Back in the Sprinter van, Angie says it didn't really feel resolved. She left upset. And I haven't heard from her since outside of being together. In a talking head, Angie goes, I'm not like a here today, gone tomorrow friend. I have had the same friend since I was 5 years old. That's the Greek way. And I've known Lisa for 15 years. And we see photos of them throughout their friendship. And, you know, we talked about really deep, important things. And I thought we had a really meaningful friendship. So for me, Lisa pulling away and going dark on me is her fault. Also, who cares? It's curling. I'd rather go to the Miller High Life factory. Are you kidding me? That's not the hot list. The hot list is Miller High Life, damn it. Mary, being a good friend, goes, well, she's never talked to you since? And Angie's like, well, in big groups, but not like we used to every day. And when he goes, the only thing that makes sense is if Meredith, did you tell her that we talked about her last night, Meredith? Oh, Meredith busted. Meredith goes, well, yeah, I did. Of course I did. Why, of course I did. No. But by the way, that is the show. Like, I will say it's so funny. And it's like, kudos to the producers. Like, how does anybody on these shows tell anybody anything at this point? Because you know it just gets back directly to them. There's no other option on this show. But Mary's like, of course I did. Yes. And then Mary goes, oh. And Angie's like, well, there you go. There you go. And Mary goes, well, Lisa and I agreed if anything was coming in between us, we would always talk about it. And Whitney goes, it now makes sense why Lisa is not here. And just shots of all the ladies taking in this information. And then Heather goes, wait, so is she avoiding Angie or is she avoiding Whitney? And then everybody's like, that's what I'm confused about as well. Who is she ignoring? Or could it be both? And everybody's like, yeah, that's a deep mystery. Who is it? Who is it? We come back from break. We are seeing the skyline of Milwaukee, and we are at the Ascension Columbia St. Mary Expo Center. and we are at curling. I don't know how this, like, how did this get set up so last minute? Like, all of a sudden, Lisa's like, I don't want to go today, but I have called a curling facility. Like, what producer's job had to immediately like find a curling facility to shoot at? How was this not already planned? How was a curling facility just open to shoot at? I mean, I imagine this is like curling's a big deal in Milwaukee, maybe. So Lisa's like, how do we get started curling? And the guy, helping him through is like, okay, we got to put some grippers on your feet. Oh my God, grippers. I love this. Thanks for squeezing us in so last minute. Our friends were doing something else. And I'm like, I don't really want to be around them today. And the guy's like, oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm in the scene now. What are they up to? I think they're going to like the beer caves. And the guy's like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. And they're like, is that cool? And the guy goes, that's a big deal in Milwaukee. The beer caves. Yeah, big deal. And then Maylee and Brittany are like, oh, really? Big deal? What? And Lisa's like, oh, it is? And the guy's like, yeah. I mean, the guy's serious too, of like, yeah, you missed a real big opportunity there. Actual beer caves. Beer caves. Yeah. So we see more shots of Milwaukee, and we are at Miller, the historic caves. And Whitney's walking in, and Meredith walks in. And Meredith is in this big old fur, but she also looks like she's wearing like a safety vest underneath the fur. And Meredith's like, oh, wow, look at this. Actual caves. Wow, look at this. Interesting. And you guys, it does look like a cave with barrels in it. And it's a cave, and we hear like the choral music. Oh, oh, oh. And when he's like, this is so cool. Everybody's like, wow. Meredith goes, this is gorgeous. Wow. It's a cave. It's rock walls. And everybody's like, we were not expecting this. It's caves. What were you expecting? And the guy that's leading them through this is like, welcome to the Miller Valley Caves. And Meredith goes, amazing. Yeah, amazing. This is so cool. And Heather's like, so wait, we're in an actual cave right now? This isn't just randomly called cave. It's an actual cave. And they're led to this table. They do this at the Harley Davidson place later. They've set up like a whole table with like, charcuterie and all of this stuff in the caves. But the guy's like, yeah, you're in a cave. Because back before refrigeration existed, this is how we kept the beer cold. Whoa, no way. And then we jet on over to the curling facility. And Lisa's like, let's see what you guys got. Let's go. And it's the curling, and you do the little sweep thing on the curling. I don't know. And Lisa goes, in a talking head, she's like, when I think of curling, I think of like lifting weights, but this is fine. Anything's better than hanging out with Whitney. Damn, girl. Damn. What? Anyways, Maylee's like, look at us. And Brittany's like, whoa. Maylee says, being on the ice comes naturally to me. I was actually a figure skater growing up, and we see a picture of her in her little, costume. And she's like, I actually was training for the Junior Olympics when I decided to walk away. But being on the ice curling is so much fun for me. And so we see them doing their little curling bit, like, good job, you guys. Lisa in a talking head goes, this is the most sweeping I've done in years. Hey-oh. And actually, I'm really good at it. So more curling hijinks, and Lisa's like, but I hope nobody at home gets any ideas because it's not happening there. I'm talking to you, John Barlow. Don't expect the only lifting I'm going to be doing is lifting a Taco Bell burrito to my mouth. Ha ha ha. Lisa goes, we could go to the Olympics, ladies. Yay. We're back at the caves. This guy's like, so we have a handful of cheeses. How you're having cheeses with Miller High Life? What is it? It's like a sharp cheddar? What is it? Those little like just slices of cheese, like the Kraft slices? Like what? This is a nice Gouda with your Miller High Life. So the guy's like, everything on your plate is from Milwaukee. And we see the little plates with cheese. He goes, I hear one of you maybe hasn't had beer before. And Mary goes, I haven't. It's me. And the guy's like, so are you familiar with champagne though? And Mary goes, yes, I am. And we flash back to Mary goes, that first season when she took to that fancy dinner with Walter. She goes, you guys are drinking Dom Perignon 2003. In 2003, it was the heat wave. 5,600 people died. And it made the best grapes of all time. 5,600 people died, but it made the best. But it made. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it. But I forgot you. But sorry. You do not let Mary Cosby in around any natural disaster because she's just going to be something. She's going to put a positive spin on it, like, well, we're about to get some really good champagne out of this. Yeah, that flight crashed, but my God, there's going to be a good Merlot coming out of this. Woo. Anyways, the guy at the Miller place is like, well, this is the champagne of beers. And Mary's like, really? No, not all. She's not even being physical. She's like, really? And he goes, yeah. So Miller High Life, the champagne of beers, which has always been their slogan, but it's like a tongue-in-cheek slogan because Miller High Life, yeah, it's like piss. Like, but I mean that in like the best way possible. Like I drink, I don't really drink anymore, but like Bud Light, I'm a big fan of Bud Light when I used to drink. But like Miller High Life, yeah, that's my speed. Would I call it the champagne of beers? Probably not. Anyways, Mary goes, what year is it? And then she goes, I'm kidding. Like, Mary Cosby made a joke. Like, normally Mary Cosby would be like, what year is it? And mean it in regards to Miller High Life. She goes, what year is it? And she goes, I'm just joking. Like, Mary Cosby has become self-aware. Heather goes, does Mary realize this is the champagne of beers? If we can swap that Miller High Life from her Dom Perignon 2003, think of the money she'll save. Womp, womp. This is what I'm talking about with Heather. Whoever is scripting these talking headlines for her, I don't know. Just please tell me I'm not alone in this. Is it landing for you? It just feels so jokey of like, think of all the money she'll save. Anyways, they raise their beer glasses. Everybody's smiling at each other, sipping, sip, sip, sip. Mary Cosby sips hers. And Heather goes, I think it's delicious. What do you think, Mary? And Mary goes, ooh, I like it. She goes, ooh, I like it. I like it. Mary Cosby in a talking head goes, I had no clue that there was like an upscale beer. It's regal. It's regal. And we see then Mary Cosby drinking the beer and smiling and laughing. Anyways, Heather goes to High Life. And so the guy goes, so our next beer is something fun and fresh and from Wisconsin. And we're pairing it with cheese turds. Oh, sorry. No, cheese curds. And then Angie's like, how about feta cheese? Greek cheese. How about feta cheese? Do you guys ever do feta cheese with beer? And the guy's like, yeah, of course. I mean, by the way, yeah, you can eat any fucking shit with this stuff. Yeah. I mean, you can eat chili, you can eat whatever. And then when he goes, she can't escape the Greek. She can't. And everybody's like, oh, you acknowledge that I'm Greek. Thank you. The guy's like, next we'll move on to a summer shandy. They start sipping that. This actually seems fun. And Mary drinks it and goes, oh, that's so good. That is so good. That touched my soul. And Angie goes, we're going to become beer drinkers. Just imagine that. We're going to become beer drinkers. We cut out of that back to the expo center after the curling. And Maylee's like, let's go get something to drink, guys. And Brittany goes, okay, guys, get this. Jared Osmond just texted me again. And Lisa's like, wait, what? Oh my gosh. And then Brittany's like, oh my God, I missed a call and I have another voicemail. She seems, oh my God, I missed a call and there's a voicemail. What is going on? Oh my God. In a talking head, Brittany goes, it was devastating to hear that Jared was texting Angie's brow girl. We flash back to them in the hotel in Milwaukee, and Brittany's like, I need to know exactly when this was. And Brittany has her phone out comparing notes with Angie K. And Brittany's like, I'm so nervous. And Angie's like, February 17th. And Lisa goes, oh my God, that's so new. And Brittany's like, I mean, I don't want to give excuses, but it sounds like this is when we were on a break. I mean, they were on 17 breaks, according to Brittany. And Lisa's like, who wants a guy like that? Like, you are better than this, Brittany. He's like a D-list Osmond, too. Like, who fucking cares? And Brittany just looks torn in this scene. She's like, oh my God, oh my God. In a talking head, Brittany goes, Jared keeps texting me, and I don't want to text him back until I've processed everything. It's a brow girl, for the love of God. She goes, I need to figure out why I keep choosing men that always have one foot out the door. And we see the Jared text, and I freezed it right here so I can read. And it says, the first one goes 10:07 a.m. Ouch. Hey, BFF, where are you? The BFF, that's creepy of Jared. Like, best friends forever. Like, yeah, we get it, dude. You haven't claimed her, but like, you're going to tease the BFF. And then today at 12:15 p.m., so like this is 10:07 a.m., 12:15. I'm doing the math. That's like 12 no, it's 2 hours. And it goes, wow, just got my head bit off. This is really fun, Britt. Call me when you can. I thought I meant a little bit more to you than to you to just go dark on me. Obviously, you're not sending. Oh, sorry. Obviously, you're not sending me red receipts anymore. Oh my God, she had red receipts on, and you have terminated the friendship. Please give me a heads up, so I know what to expect here. None of this feels genuine or kind. And Lisa's like, oh my God, he's saying you've terminated the friendship, not relationship. And Maylee's like, are you seeing that? That's true. And Lisa's like, I thought I meant a little bit more to you. Are you kidding me? That is so manipulative. I haven't known Brittany that long, but I feel like she's a quintessential LDS girl. That's Latter-day Saints, born and bred to please a man. That's the norm for like this culture to be valuable. But that's a very outdated way of thinking. And in the scene, she's like, he's calling you bestie instead of his love. He's saying friendship instead of relationship. And Brittany just keeps going, right, yeah, right, right. And Lisa's like, words mean everything. Just like when I call Whitney fucking stupid. Those are words, and I mean them to mean something. And Lisa in the talking head's like, I'm like, you're amazing, Brittany. You don't need a guy to fulfill your life. Is it nice? Yeah, it's amazing, but you don't need it. And we also see her scrolling up on her phone, and it looks like he sent her a video as well. I mean, pretty little odd, but like the Jared guy, just as odd. Now I'm starting to think maybe odder. Brittany goes, what he did behind my back was treasonous. Well, you know what? Maybe just because I'm still hopped up on that January 6th thing. That's, this really isn't treasonous. I mean, it could be a betrayal, but treasonous, I think we might be using the words wrong. And Brittany's like, it was treasonous. And Lisa's like, yeah. And then Lisa goes, that's the best word for it. Treason. And they're just like, yeah, treason. No, this is definitely treason. Treason. You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Let me look up treason, the definition. Oh, I just looked it up. Oh my God. Jared Osmond's face is right by the definition. How could I know? It goes, the offense. This is treason, you guys. This is the definition. The treason is the crime of a. This is the definition from Merriam-Webster's. Treason is the crime of attempting to overthrow a country's government or aiding its enemies in war. It can also refer to the betrayal of a trust or treachery. Okay, so that first part, yeah, I don't think Jared's necessarily trying to overthrow a country's government, the country being Brittany. But yeah, this could refer to the betrayal of a trust. So yeah, maybe it kind of works that way. But the top one is that government overthrowing thing, which I don't think we have enough information to prove if that's what's happening here. Anyways, Brittany's like, you're right. We're back at the caves. More cheersing. We're cheersing more beers. And Bronwyn is like, when I walked in, I was talking to Todd, and he was like, where are you guys? Because he worked here for like a hot second before he invented the Palm Pilot. His first job out of college was with Miller Brewing Company. And Heather's like, here in Milwaukee? No, Heather, in the Maui location of Miller. Yeah. And Bronwyn's like, yes, he was a packaging manager, not here, but they sent him here for 6 months. I mean, I wasn't even born. We're like a second marriage way later in life, so I wouldn't live here with him, not in the caves. In a talking head, Bronwyn's like, Todd has had a whole life before I was even born. Every once in a while, he'll say something to me, like, they didn't have color TV when he was a child. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? And they take her to color talking head and they change it to black and white. Like, he'll sometimes say to me, we didn't even have running water back in the day. So the Miller High Life guy's like, I hope you enjoyed all the products today with some delicious Wisconsin cheese. And Mary's like, we did. And the guy, he has a monologue. He's like showcasing some of the Miller products. I've got to get through this sentence. And Braun was like, this whole thing was amazing. And then the guy's like, but have you heard about the ghost stories? And there's spooky music playing. There is a history of hauntings and ghost sightings. There's pause as Meredith crunches her cracker. And then the guy goes, we can learn a bit more about it if we head over to the Miller Inn. And everyone's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go learn about ghosts, And Heather goes, well, can I stay here and crack open that Blue Moon beer? And the guy's like, of course, if you don't want to fucking learn about ghosts, you can just crack that Blue Moon. Anyways, Heather goes, I don't believe in ghosts. Let's stay back, Whitney. Let's stay back. I've heard enough ghost stories in my life. So the rest of the ladies go to find out this whole ghost story. And Whitney's like, it's kind of nice to get away from the group just for a minute. And Whitney or Heather's in this big babushka. Is that what they call it? Like a big fur hat thing, which looks insane, but also very Salt Lake City. And Whitney goes, I really like being Laverne and Shirley with you. And Heather's like, I know. It's like the good old days, right? And Whitney's like, yeah, bad weather. Now we're back to the ghost guy. And he's like, the ghost story. I think our bartenders here have a ghost story, and I'm going to introduce them right now. So hang on. And I love these two Miller High Life employees so much. These are salt of the earth people right here. They look awesome. The one guy, I shit you not, has a bowl cut. And no offense, like he makes it work. He rocks the bowl cut, but it is a bowl cut. And I was like, fuck yeah, man. I hope this guy comes back all season. And they're both smiling. They're like, hey. And the lady's like, so is this your first time here in Milwaukee? And they're like, yeah, I think it is. and then Mary Cosby pipes up and goes, Meredith's dad and my dad are from Milwaukee. My dad used to live like a street across from Jeffrey Dahmer. And these two people are like, oh, okay, yeah. Did she just bring up Jeffrey Dahmer? Okay. And then Mary continues, and one day they were taping off the apartment and they were bringing like bags to the police cars. And he said, I had no idea those were body parts and they were cooked. And Angie just bursts out laughing and Braun is like trying not to laugh as well. Now, last week's episode, remember, said that like the dad would go buy Jeffrey Dahmer's and he said something didn't smell right. So this guy was always going around Jeffrey Dahmer's, like so much so that I'm like, this guy know Jeffrey Dahmer? Like, why was he around Jeffrey's place so much that he was like, yeah, it didn't smell right. And then I was also there on the day when they were bringing out cooked body parts. And Mary goes, and anyways, that's like the only thing I have tied with Milwaukee, which is like, that's the best thing, right? Like that's a pretty good thing, right? The caves or Jeffrey Dahmer. Braun went into talking head, goes, there's nothing these guys could tell us that could top what Mary is saying right now. It's beyond creepy. I love that. I love how the way Bronwyn speaks. So she's like, it's beyond creepy. Then Mary Cosby and her talking head goes, well, my dad did lie sometimes. So I hope he didn't make that up. I mean, what are the chances that he made up watching a bunch of cooked body parts come out of Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment after potentially also lying about smelling something amiss a week prior? And then Mary in the scene goes, so you can see why I didn't come here. I love that what kept Mary out of Milwaukee for so long was that Jeffrey Dahmer story from her dad. Anyways, the employees are like, yeah, good story. And Braun was like, it's too much, Mary, it's too much. Oh my goodness. Okay, now back with Whitney and Heather. Whitney's like, have you tried the jam on the hard cheese, Heather? And Heather's like, no, I did not. Is it good? Yeah. And Heather goes, Whitney, you planned a great trip. You did a great job. Thank you. But like Whitney, there's something I've been wanting to talk to you about. The tense music. Dun, 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 dun. Heather goes, well, I was talking to Meredith yesterday. And Whitney just shakes her head. Okay. And she said that people are talking about Prism and your business. And Whitney goes, in what way? And Heather goes, it's legitimacy. And we just hit the staring shots again. Like shot of like Whitney going zoinks, and then Heather kind of like and then back to Whitney zoinks, back forth, and we cut to commercial. We pick back up after the commercial, and Heather is like, I was talking to Meredith yesterday at the casino, and she said that people are talking about Prism, which is Whitney's company, and your business. Basically, that you're like white labeling jewelry from China. Everybody's talking about it, Heather says. And Whitney goes, well, they need to stop because that's really shit. That's my business, and there's nothing shady about it. It was a social media post. And Heather's like, okay. Actually, one of my business partner found it and sent it to me. She goes, do you think this is one of your friends? And Heather's like, what? Zoinks? In a talking head, Whitney goes, there is a social media account that is accusing me of buying my jewelry from Alibaba. And we put up the AliExpress photo and the Prism photo. And you guys, it is the same photo, right? Like, I'm trying to think, like, yeah, like this is the same. Like, I'm like looking at it right now. This is the same photo. Whitney goes, and that is not true. We buy from curated vendors. That's called commerce. It's not like Meredith is out there in the ocean diving for her caviar. And then we have like a fun little editor thing where like we have Meredith in like scuba gear popping up out of the water. Like that's actually in the scene. Whitney tells Heather, whoever said that, that's fucked up. And Heather's like, I mean, what Meredith was saying feels like the stuff that's out there would kill your brand. Did she not fucking learn her lesson after last year? Stay out of DMs, stay out of documents. In a talking head, Whitney goes, last year, Meredith nearly lost all of her friends because she dug up DMs about Angie. And then we flash back to last season, before the reality Von Tease, where Angie's like, after you called her and told her to look in her DMs, suddenly some documents appeared from a fake account that I'm in the Greek mafia. And Meredith's shaking her head like, what? And then Whitney in that same scene going, last year there was DMs going around about Lisa with the SEC filing, and you're the one who brought all that up. It's pretty obvious that you're doing this behind the scenes. In the talking head, Whitney goes, I think that it's so embarrassing and shameless that Meredith has gone back to her old tricks. That is so fucked up. Okay, so guys, this is like, remember when we were doing the recaps last season, if you were with me back then, it was looking like Meredith, because we had the reality Von Tease of it all, but then it was like the Meredith, it did seem like Meredith had her hands in so many things. Now, is there a word? And I love Meredith Marks, and also I do want to believe that Meredith does go diving for her own caviar. Like, that's not off the table. Like, I feel like that potentially could be how they get the Meredith Marks caviar, but it does seem like she has all of this information. Is there a world in, go with me here, that reality Von Tease was trolling Jen Shaw, trolling these ladies, but like, is there also a world in which Meredith was getting information from other sources? Now, tonight, when I talked to Monica Garcia on the carpet, I told her about this Alibaba storyline. And I was like, it almost is like, is that you? Is that reality Von Tease? And she said, no. You know who that is, actually? And I didn't know this, even though I know her. She says it's Dana Wilkie, $25,000 sunglasses. Dana Wilkie, because Dana Wilkie has a YouTube channel, right? I believe, and a podcast. I really like Dana a lot, but Dana like gets in there. But she says Dana is the one that got this information about the Alibaba. So can somebody confirm if that is true, or Dana? Maybe I'll reach out to Dana and see if that is the case or not. But Meredith, I mean, like, but Meredith is getting, this isn't reality Von Tease. Anyways, Whitney tells Heather, I think she's so pissed off that I started a jewelry company. She comes from a place of like gatekeeping and fear. She doesn't come from a place of abundance. She's not ever supported my business. Anytime I've done something for my business, she has not shown up. And Heather goes, it didn't feel like she was the source of the information. And when he goes, whether she's the source of the information, and Heather goes, I think you should ask her where she heard it. Heather, being a good producer here, going, I think we need a scene between you guys where you talk about this. And Whitney points and goes, why is she even fucking talking about it? If she was my friend, she'd call me and be like, hey, Whitney, did you see this? Nope. She's going to all of you to make me look bad and discredit me. That is fucked up. And Heather's like, well, I feel like you're pissed. No shit, Heather. And when he goes, I'm not pissed at you. You are my Laverne and Shirley. No. And Heather goes, please, please don't fucking say anything on the Sprinter van. That's where I like to pee and puke myself on Sprinter vans. Please don't say it on a sacred place. And Whitney's pouring herself a beer. It's like, I won't say anything. And Heather's like, just think about it. Like, you guys can talk about later at a better time when I'm not anywhere around. And you can just tell Whitney's pissed. Anyways, they get up. We cut out of that scene. More shots of Milwaukee. At this point, I feel like I've seen most of Milwaukee. The ladies are going back or coming back to the hotel. Lisa, Maylee, Brittany. They go upstairs into the place, and Lisa's like, do we have any treats? And, they're like, yeah, we need some food. And Maylee's like, well, there's turkey sandwiches, but they were dry last night. And then Lisa's like, Kit Kats. Oh my God. Let me grab this and some water. The turkey sandwiches don't look good. And they're like, what's your Kit Kat obsession? And she's like, I love Kit Kats like no other. Man, Lisa Barlow is so smart. I feel like this is like a Wendy's sponsorship, like in her future, but with Kit Kats. I love Kit Kats. I will keep talking about it for the rest of the season until they sponsor me. Okay, so now we're back in the Sprinter van, and it's this awkward Sprinter van ride. Whitney's on her phone. Everybody's quiet in the Sprinter van. Meredith's on her phone. Whitney is drinking Miller High Life straight, like she is drinking the High Life on the Sprinter van, and we see Heather pop up in Whitney's head going, please, please don't say anything on the Sprinter van, the Sprinter van, the Sprinter van, the Sprinter van. And so it's just like more pause, more pause. Meredith looking on her phone. And all of a sudden, Whitney calls Maylee on FaceTime, and they're like, hey. And when he's like, hi, love, you can tell she is buzzed on High Life. And Maylee's like, you look cute. Thank you. You didn't come to Miller. And Angie's like, which one of the traitors are you talking to? And Maylee's like, we went curling. And when he goes, but you didn't tell me you were going curling. And Maylee's like, well, I didn't really know what was going on. Lisa came and just like invited me. And I was like, okay, I hope everything's okay, cool. And when he's like, yeah, I mean, I would have liked a heads up. They had put out cheese and crackers and Miller High Life for you, but it's all good. Hey, I just want to let you know we're on our way back and to get ready for Harley. Can you have everyone start getting ready? Because we have to leave at 5. Okay, bye. Okay, so the other ladies get out of the Sprinter van. They go into the hotel, and Whitney's like, thank you for coming to the Miller Caves. That was awesome. And they're like, okay, we got an hour to get ready. And she's like, yeah, you have an hour. And Mary's like, see you in an hour, ladies. Let's do it, ladies. Let's do it. Let's get ready for Harley. Okay, so more shots of the hotel. We see all the shots of the ladies getting married, getting ready. And we have Whitney texting somebody, meet for dinner in 15. And don't forget to bring a change of clothes for the drag show. So she's sending out like texts. Angie K is getting glam. Meredith's getting glam. Maylee not getting glam. We see Mary Cosby using her special comb on her hair. I love that Mary Cosby doesn't have glam. I mean, another salt of the earth lady. Mary Cosby, my new favorite. So everybody's all glammed up. They're going back into the Sprinter van, ready for the Harley Davidson night. So in the Sprinter van, everybody's like, woo! And then it's just silence. And then Heather goes, Whitney, excited for tonight? You excited? And Whitney's like, yes. And Heather goes, it has been such a fun trip, Whitney, a very fun trip. And Whitney goes, it's been an amazing trip until I found out y'all are talking about my business. Tense music. Heather like, oh, fuck, I asked her not to do it in the Sprinter van. Everybody's just silent. And Mary's like, who? What's what? Who? And Whitney goes, it has been brought to my attention that people are starting rumors that I buy my pieces from Alibaba. More silence from the ladies. Do, 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 which is completely false. And Meredith goes, I don't think anyone started that rumor. I said that I saw it and I told Heather that I felt badly about it. We see a shot of Heather just shaking her head. Yep, 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 yep. Because I would have helped you, Whitney. And when he goes, if you were concerned, why didn't you pick up the phone and call me? Because I don't have that many minutes on a cell phone. I'm on 500-minute phone plan a month. I can't just willy-nilly call people like no. She goes, because Whitney, you didn't want to discuss it with me. You had every opportunity. And Whitney goes, how did you ever, well, you to say I'm starting something in your industry? You could have said that to me, Whitney. Do you have advice? Can you anything? You clearly didn't want my advice. And when he goes, if there was something wrong with my business, I would come to you. And then Meredith, well, then there's nothing wrong with your business. When Meredith got really hyped, there's nothing wrong with your business. And when he goes, do you feel like there's something wrong with my business? And Meredith goes, well, you came under fire on social media. Everybody's got to get off the fucking social media. You came under fire on social media. And I felt badly that that was the case. I'm not sitting here trying to figure out your business. I'm worrying about my own, not yours. I am literally diving for caviar eggs every fucking weekend. But when he's like, well, you're certainly talking about it. And Bronwyn just goes, oh, give them some space to do this. Wow. Oh, when he goes, I don't understand why you are concerned. And we get a shot of Mary Cosby, and she looks like she's potentially sleeping or like buzzed from the high life. She's just kind of like Stevie wondering it, like her head's going from side to side. And when he's like, but you're talking to all of them and not me, Meredith. And Meredith goes, but because I'm really not that concerned. And Mary Cosby goes, oh, Lord, have mercy. Oh, Lord, have mercy. And then Mary Cosby in a talking head goes, blah, 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 blah. And then we see her do the same blah, blah motion on the Sprinter van. Blah, 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 blah. And Mary goes like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? This is a lot, Mary Cosby says. I need a Zenning or something, Mary says. So we pull up to the Harley Davidson place. We really haven't finished that conversation, but when he goes, this is a really cool night for me. I'm a Harley Davidson girl. I love it. They've opened up the museum. They don't do this. This is special, you guys. You thought the caves were insane? Wait till I love they don't do this for regular people. You've got to I'm a Harley Davidson girl. I'm a Schwinn girl. No, I'm a Harley Davidson girl. You don't understand. This is, guys, I was like, why have we not known that Whitney is a Harley Davidson girl? And we're going to find out more about that in a second. But I remember that I was like, wait, there's no way. They're a Harley Davidson. Like, I was like, I don't even think Whitney owns a Harley Davidson. Does she just mean like the t-shirts and like the jackets and stuff? Like, what are you talking? I feel like we would have known this. Like Tamra and Eddie from OC, I mean, they wear Harley Davidson with their whole chest. We're getting biker scenes with them, the whole deal. Anyways, Whitney's like, we're having dinner inside. So can we put a pin in this? And Maylee's like, we worked up an appetite. We deserve food. And they're like, yeah, we deserve dinner. Yeah. So they all step out. We still have not finished that conversation. And we go into the Harley Davidson. We hear some rock guitars. We see all these old Harley Davidsons. I've never been on a motorcycle, but I got to tell you, it is pretty cool to see these old motorcycles. These ladies just being all positive. They're like, whoa, this is amazing. Oh, motorcycles. And Whitney's like, Milwaukee is home to Harley Davidson. And I am a diehard Harley girl. And then we see shots of Whitney on like a dirt bike and a young Whitney on a dirt bike. She's like, I have ridden my entire life. And then we see two more shots of they do own Harleys. We see her husband, Justin, and her. Whitney is in some sort of like metallic belt and top where the breastises are all hanging out, and then another picture where she's got like a Bret Michaels bandana on, and you see all these bike, like they really are fucking a Harley couple. How are we just getting to this Harley information 5 seasons in? She's like, we own Harleys, we ride Harleys, we go to Sturgis. I don't even fucking know what Sturgis is. I'm guessing it's like a heaven for Harley Davidson bike riders. She goes, so it's cool for me to share my love of motorcycles with my friends. This truly is a big trip for Whitney. Like, this really is. So this guy that works for Harley Davidson, or you'll find out more about him in a second, he's like, hey, how are you guys? And when he's like, good, how are you? I'm Whitney. I do not sell Alibaba. And he was like, hey, Whitney, Bill Davidson. And I'm like, holy shit, Harley Davidson, Bill Davidson, he's related to these people? And when he's like, nice to meet you, I feel like I'm in front of I'm in the presence of something holy. And we have the music going, oh, and the Davidson guy's like, oh, thank you. And it's talking when he's like, I am meeting the modern day prophet of Harley Davidson. The guy's like, welcome, you guys. And Lisa's like, I'm Lisa. I love Kit Kats. He's like, this is so exciting to have you here as our guest. Come on in. Whitney in the talking head continues, it's like I'm in the temple eating dinner. Yeah, I gotta study up more on this church stuff. Like the Harley Davidson's place is just as good as eating like in the temple, like the Lord's place. Anyways, the guy's like, the company started in 1903. And Maylee's like, oh my gosh. The guy goes, my great grandfather, William, my two great uncles, Walter and Arthur, and then their good friend Bill Harley developed the first motorcycle that Harley built in 1903. And we see all these old Harleys. And he's like, we have 120 motorcycles because we've been in existence for 121 years. And Brittany goes, that's amazing. Look, Jared Osmond couldn't fucking do shit like this at all. And Angie goes, I love the colored bikes, the whole evolution, right? Heather's like, I like that little blue teal girl over there. And then Lisa's like, this is just like the nail salon with all the colors. Because we see all of like the different little like color. I don't even know what you fucking call them. Anyways, Bronwyn in a talking head goes, I stay surprised at the way these women choose to act. Like it was a full-on assault at the Sprinter van. And we cut to all the ladies keep going, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh my God. And Bronwyn continues in the talking head, and now they're on their best behavior. They're acting like ladies. It took the Harley Davidson Museum to bring out the classy side of these hoes. Like, we are in the upside down right now. Like, what is happening? Bronwyn, that's what I'm talking about. This whole, whenever I recap Salt Lake, Bronwyn nails it on the head. It's the upside down. It is so bizarre. And also, that's a classic trope of Housewives, is to get into like an intense battle and then just like be fine. Yeah. Hey, we're at the Harley Davidson place. Everybody cool. Anyways, the Davidson guy's like, well, we prepared an awesome dinner and we have gift bags for you at the table. And Brittany's like, yeah. So let's head that way. And then Whitney goes, can we give you a hug? Whitney loves Carl Rag. Can I get a hug? Can I give you a hug, Mr. Davidson? And the guy's like, sure. And she's like, thank you so much for this to happen. Truly incredible. And we see this whole like dinner setup for all of these ladies right in the, like, what a weird place to have dinner, but it does look cool. You see all the Harley Davidson gift bags on the table. They all sit down. And Angie's like, well, cheers to Whitney. This has been such a great trip so far. And everyone's like, seriously, cheers. And Heather's like, to Milwaukee. All right. Cheers. And just awkward kind of laughter. And Heather goes, well, that was wonderful. And then there's a pause. And Whitney goes, I wanted to give everyone one of my custom designs. And everybody's just like shaking their head. Okay. I really, whether you want it or not, I want to gift it to you all. And this is potentially the Prism stuff from Alibaba, allegedly. And Lisa's like, thank you. And Whitney continues, I wanted to gift these to you earlier, but then it's like, I found out that you're all talking about it. So that's why I was emotional. So Meredith, pause. I just think that if you truly cared, you'd pick up the phone and call me. So now we're back on the same exact conversation and not talk about what was out there. We see Mary Cosby's facial reaction, like, oh my God. Her eyes go wide, like, I want to be back in the Miller Life caves. Help. And Meredith goes, you're making this into something much bigger. I mean, that's a little gaslighting, though, because it is kind of a really bold accusation that potentially could hurt a business, even though, like, fuck it. It does look like cool jewelry. I'm not like, great. Like, Alibaba, I don't care. I really don't. Meredith goes, it was something I said. I felt badly about it. That was it. And Lisa goes, yeah, yeah. And Meredith goes, yeah, didn't I say that to you, Lisa? Didn't I say that I felt badly about it? And Lisa's like, yeah, yeah. When he's like, the bottom line. And then Lisa cuts in, I feel like I started the conversation. And when he's like, I'm talking to Meredith. And Lisa's like, what she said. What she said. And when he's like, I'm trying to talk to Meredith. I'm talking to you, Meredith. So please don't pull other people in. Whitney being smart with the Housewives game. Yeah. Because Meredith's like, didn't I, speaking of that, didn't I tell our good friend Lisa Barlow, Lisa, if you'd like to tap in with me here to take down Whitney right now, that'd be amazing. But when he's like, can we keep this between you and I, please? And Meredith just like more just shots of staring, like Meredith going, ugh. And then Lisa goes, let me help you out. You're turning it into something bigger than it was. And then Whitney goes, I don't need your help, Lisa Barlow. And Lisa goes, I think you do need some help because you're off. You're saying something that's not true. You're making it something it's not. And Whitney goes, no, stop steamrolling me. Stop steamrolling me. Stop steamrolling me. And then Lisa goes, oh my God, are we going to do that? And trying to imitate Whitney. Should I talk like you? And just pause, tense music, shots of each other looking at each other. Ugh. I just realized that was Whitney trying to imitate Lisa, like, stop steamrolling me. But it was in the Whitney voice, so I didn't quite get it at first. And then Lisa imitates her. And then Bronwyn goes, ooh. And he's like, oh my God. And Brittany shakes her head. And then Angie, being a Greek goddess, says, hey, well, let's not mock each other, okay? And Whitney kind of gives this look, like looking down, like, yeah, let's not mock each other. And then Lisa goes, it's awful to be attacked online. It's awful having people say things about you. And when he's like, but what I'm mad about is that y'all talked about it and didn't talk to me directly. That's called gossip. And then Lisa goes, Whitney, you did the same thing to me. You and Angie talked to Meredith about me. And that is also called gossip. I've worked really hard on this friendship with Meredith. I don't need you guys going to her and saying, do you trust her? Do you think she's your friend? And when he goes, I'm feeling steamrolled by you. And then Lisa goes, I love that this is your keyword. You two steamroll. And when he goes, because that's what you do. And then Angie goes, steamroll. And Lisa goes, you feel steamrolled when I come to you with facts. Is that what you feel steamrolled by? And then Angie goes, Lisa, listen, I don't hear anything from you since I left your event, Bezos, because I voiced my opinion and it didn't match how you felt about Whitney. And then Lisa goes, we went to lunch and I told you I don't care if you back Whitney. I know you back Whitney. I know it. What got me upset is you meddling in my friendship with Meredith. And Angie's like, I'm not meddling in your friendship with and Lisa's like, I don't care that you side with Whitney. That's your opinion. I don't care that you're friends with her. But you're saying, and Angie's like, you do care. And Lisa screams, goes, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. And Lisa just explodes. And she's like, I say exactly what I mean. No, I care that you went to her with stuff. I said to you in confidence, and you just changed our relationship. And then we flash back to the Bezos party where Lisa's like, did you tell Whitney about our conversation that you had with me and Heather? And Andy's like, I talked to her about part of it. Yeah. And then Lisa goes, well, then you know how I feel about this right now. I am isolated. Don't fucking do that to me. Then back in this scene, Angie's like, you don't like that I'm not just doing whatever you want me to do. And then Lisa goes, I don't give a fuck. She starts clapping. I don't give a fuck. What'd you do? She's screaming, full scream. This is not a Kit Kat sponsorship right here. They don't like screamers. And then Lisa realizes her mouth's full. So she's like, sorry. She's like screaming with her hand over her mouth because she's like, her mouth's full. And somebody's screaming, you fucking bitch. Oh, yeah. Lisa's like, you fucking bitch. And then Angie K gets up out of her table and she gets that pointer finger out. And she's like, I didn't turn my fucking back on you and I'm fucking pissed at you. And then Angie K points at Mary Cosby and goes, am I a loyal fucking friend? Am I a loyal fucking friend? And then when he goes, she never said anything to me, Lisa. And Lisa goes, she gave you fucking, she gave you fuck you, she, Lisa's like, she gave you fuck, you verbatimly said the same thing. So I know you did. And then Angie goes, you're a fucking bitch. I've never said. And then she stands up again. She goes, you've been a fucking bitch to me at times, Lisa Barlow. You've kept me up at night. And Lisa goes, okay. You treat me like shit. And then Lisa goes, you know what you did. You called me every fucking day. And then I told you exactly how you made me feel what you did to me. And you couldn't deny it. Now, at this point, Angie K just suddenly kicks her chair over. Just like, boom, kicks her chair over. Now, Whitney sees the intensity and takes Angie K's like Harley Davidson food plate and like kind of pulls it away from Angie K because, you know, hey, let's keep it classy at the Harley Davidson place, right? Lisa's like, I need a break from you and you needed a break from me. I don't think you've been a good friend to me lately, Angie K. Angie in a talking head goes, I am a good friend. I've been loyal. I've been there for her 24/7. It's never enough for Lisa. She wants you to say, yes, Lisa, you're right, Lisa. I love Diet Coke, Lisa, and I have zero opinion that doesn't align with what she's thinking. I don't put any conditions on her, and I don't want conditions put on me. And then Lisa goes, go hang out with everybody but me. And Angie's like, I'm here. Where were you this morning? And then Lisa goes, call Electra. Oh, wait, isn't that what you do? Hold on, it's Electra. That's what you do when you have to get away from having a conversation with me after you call me. And everybody's just like, whoa. Because Electra is Angie K's daughter. So Lisa is accusing Angie K of trying to get off the phone with her by saying that Electra needs her. But everybody, especially Brittany's like, whoa, too far. Silence. Tense music. And then Brittany goes, let's not bring kids into it. Let's not bring kids into it. And Lisa goes, I'm not bringing kids into it. It's her excuse to get off from me. And then Angie goes, if I hang up, it's because I'm a responsible mother that pays attention to my child. And then Lisa scoffs. Ugh. More pauses. And then Angie goes, give me some water. Greek water. Thank you. Lisa continues eating. Lisa just continues eating. Mary is just kind of like, oh, God. You know, Mary looks woozy. Angie in a talking head goes, I spend breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the phone with Lisa. I've taken away time with my daughter. She doesn't even know how to read because I'm always on the phone with Lisa. But I take time to listen to her, to be on the phone with her. And that's what I get in return? And then Mary Cosby goes, wow. For me, not having a mom, being a present mother is my number one goal in life. So for her to make that dig at me and hit me where it hurts the most, it's an all new low for her. The mean streets of Salt Lake City strike again, folks. And then Mary goes, it's very emotional. Mary's the reliable narrator. She's like, it's very emotional in here. More pausing. And then Mary goes, and you do love each other. You do. Mary Cosby, the peacemaker? I mean, how she's showing all the qualities this episode. Brittany kind of smiles and shakes her head. Everybody's like drinking their water glass. And then Brittany all of a sudden decides this goes, hey, okay, everyone, I have an announcement, and does her knife against her glass like she did after the ropes course. She goes, tink, tink, tink. And Mary Cosby. Now, see, this is old Mary Cosby. Mary Cosby rolls her eyes like, oh, Here we go again. Here we go again. Brittany goes, Jared and I, we are officially, pause, broken up. And Lisa goes, I love this. Yay. And she's like, and Brittany's like, you guys, I had this epiphany. And then Heather and I talking head goes, epiphany? Huh. I've heard about this epiphany before. And then we flash back to Brittany in a scene with Heather earlier in the day where Brittany goes, Heather, I literally woke up in the middle of the night, like, ding, I know exactly what I need to do. And then we flash to another scene with Brittany and Maylee, and Brittany's going, the thing is, though, Maylee, I woke up in the middle of the night with an epiphany. I just need to not date anyone. And then another flashback at the curling facility with Maylee and Lisa saying, I had this epiphany. I seriously laid there for like 2 hours. And then back to the Heather flashback. And Heather's like, well, did you call him in the middle of the night and tell him about this epiphany? And then, did you wake up and say, you're done, bro? And Brittany goes, I didn't. No, I didn't. So, she's had this epiphany. They're broken up, but Jared doesn't know about the epiphany and doesn't know that they've broken up, even though they're just friends. Yeah. Now, a producer goes, have you actually told Jared that you were officially broken up? And Brittany's like, no. Is that something? Do I need to do that? In the scene, Brittany goes, he's been blowing up my phone since last night. So, but Brittany is like high on Jared actually paying attention finally by her not paying attention to him. So Brittany goes, but I listened to y'all, and I have to say, like last night was really impactful for me. And Mary goes, really? And really? Brittany's like, yeah. And Mary's like, well, I didn't think you were listening last night. And Lisa goes, I literally thought she was going to go in her bedroom and call Jared. And Mary's like, yeah, I didn't think she heard anything we said. That's why I went to bed. In a talking head, Mary Cosby goes, it's just like the next 5 minutes, tick, 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 they're going to be back together. Watch and see. And you know what? I want my 5 minutes back. Okay. In the scene, Brittany goes, I just don't think if we're ever going to work out, it's not going to be now. I love that Brittany's like, you know what? Maybe in the future. Maybe just now. Bad time. And Lisa's like, no, you're right. And then Bronwyn goes, well, Lisa asked you last night. She said, like, what are the things you like about him, Brittany? And you said, you guys are best friends. I don't know that I totally understand what's so special about him that he's your best friend. And Heather's like, he's an Osmond. First of all, he's royalty. And Bronwyn's like, is it because he's an Osmond? Is it because he's an Osmond? And Bree's like, no, of course not. And Heather goes, I met him. That man walks into a room. He leads with Osmond. He's got that ODE, that Osmond dick energy. Like, I love that the Osmond still means something to a certain sect of people of like, that man fucking oozes Osmond. Oh, yeah. And Heather's like, he signs the deals with Osmond. People want to know he lives on Osmond Lane. And I was like, there's a fucking Osmond Lane? And then Lisa goes, does he live on Osmond Lane? And Bron was like, but do you love it? And Brittany goes, well, he grew up on Osmond Lane. And Bron was like, well, do you want to live on Osmond Lane? And Brittany goes, no. Lisa in a talking head goes, it's this gated lane in Provo, Utah with really pretty houses on it. And in the 90s, if you lived on Osmond Lane, you had cash. But like, I don't even think Donnie and Marie lived on it. Oh my God, that needs to be the new Netflix series of like going behind the gates of Osmond Lane. Oh my God, you guys, we have a new reality show, Behind the Gates of Osmond Lane. And then Mary goes, are you in love with him, Brittany? And Brittany goes, yes, I am in love with him. And Heather puts her hands in her head. And then Bronwyn goes, are you in love with him or are you in love with Osmond? And then Brittany goes, well, I think you should worry about your own marriage, Bronwyn. And then Maylee goes, oh, snap. And Mary Cosby makes the zoinks face, zoinks. And Bronwyn goes, I don't have a ton to worry about. And Brittany goes, well, how is it that you and what's your husband's name, Bronwyn? And Bronwyn goes, girl, you did not just tell me to worry about my marriage and don't even know my husband's name. And Heather laughs. Brittany goes, every relationship is messy and you have such strong opinions, Bronwyn. So just tell me Why did you choose your husband? Well, so his name is Todd. Brittany goes, okay. He and I both were having lunch by ourselves, and he was talking to me, and I thought he was hysterically funny. And Brittany goes, were you interested in him because of his money? Oh, everybody's like, ooh. And then Broman goes, well, I had Google financed his ass before I met him randomly at a bar one day for lunch. So yes, I was only interested in his money, Brittany. And Brittany's like, well, you asked me about the Osmond things. Yeah. And Broman's like, yes, it's a fair question. It's a fair question we get all the time. More pausing. And Brittany's like, what's the age gap? Well, we are 26 years apart. And everybody's like, woo, whoa, whoa, yay, ooh. And then Brittany goes, are you attracted to him? And Bronwyn's like, am I physically attracted to my husband? And then Mary's like, oh, Lord, woo. And Bronwyn's like, because he has money or because we have an age difference? And Brittany's like, both. Well, because it feels like a real low blow, it feels like. More staring from all the ladies. Stare, 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 stare. And we come back from commercial, and everybody's still staring. And in a talking head, Bronwyn goes, the gold digger, evil stepmother. It's truly boring for me when someone says this. If Brittany wanted to say that I'm on my third nose, and that is vain, yes, bitch, it is. I am on my third nose. That would be a read that I'm like, bravo. This bitch truly came to play today. In the scene, she goes, when I met Todd, I was working in finance myself. And if Todd and I got divorced tomorrow, I would not have access to most of the stuff Todd has, because Todd and I are genuinely in a real relationship that does include a physical attraction with our private parts. It includes a mental attraction. It includes a best friendship. And I wouldn't take Todd to the cleaners, which is why we don't have a prenup. What? Everybody's like, what? You don't have a prenup? What? I'm even like, what? Whitney in a talking head goes, I see what Brittany's doing. She's doing the classic stereotype. Bronwyn is a gold digger, and I don't like it. That has happened to me. I've been accused of being a gold digger because Justin's 18 years older than me. And it's not true. You love who you love. I mean, isn't a gold digger not even about the age so much as it's about trying to get somebody's money? Like, I feel like I don't even know what treason means anymore. I don't know what gold, but isn't the gold digger thing about somebody's after somebody's money? I didn't realize the age thing was a part of it as well. And was Justin well off when Whitney met him? Like, I don't know about that. But anyways, Whitney's like, and it's really frustrating because it tends to happen from people who kind of really want what you have. Harley's with Justin. Bronwyn goes, does anyone else have a question about my husband's dick or how I enjoy it? Bronwyn is a fabulous housewife. She really is. This girl is good as gold. And Maylee's like, can we go there? Can we talk about dicks? And Heather goes, no prenup? No prenup at all? And Bronwyn's like, no, we do not have a prenup. And Heather's like, well, but that seems like he's such a savvy businessman. He would not marry someone without a prenup. And Meredith goes, that is a premarital asset. Like that's their business. And Bronwyn goes, Todd is such a savvy businessman that do you think my snarky, lame ass hoodwinked him? Todd is so successful. He has all these assets to protect, and he didn't see what I was coming as a gold digger. There is something genuine between Todd and I, and he sees it. And Meredith turns to Heather and goes, leave it alone. This is not Alibaba. Leave it alone. Meredith in the talking head goes, look, to me, this is all very personal information. Like Seth and I chose to get a postnup when things were a little dicey. Well, that's fascinating. Wait, Meredith, what? A postnup when things got dicey? I don't want your access. Hey, if you're not going to give me your booty, we're doing a postnup. Meredith goes, we don't know. Perhaps he gave it all to his first wife. Who knows? I like Meredith is worried about the other women's businesses, but when it comes to relationship, like, no, you know what? It's, we can't talk about this stuff. Whitney goes, tonight has been wild and all over the place, and Angie goes, no, it was fun. It was wonderful, but we still have some things to figure out. Whatever. But are you ready to go see a drag show? When you have events happening, we've got a schedule to keep. We cannot continue these amazing fights. And Lisa goes, let's go see Queens. And everybody does Milwaukee. If you want to change for the drag show, you have to change here at the Harley Davidson Museum. So, okay, now everybody has changed, or some people, and Bronwyn, you guys, is in a hot dog costume, a hot dog outfit with a little mustard thing on top, the whole thing. And you guys, I was like, oh, that's so funny because I swear to God, I got a hot dog costume at Party City like 7 years ago. And I thought, oh my God, she got the same costume. That's not true. This is allegedly couture. This is like a fancy hot dog costume. Bronwyn says, this is couture. I was in Milan when this walked down the runway and I was like, it will be mine. At this point, I just feel like every week, I'm just like, I don't understand fashion. But even when it gets to this point, I really don't understand fashion. I mean, really, the hot dog, like, I swear to God, my hot dog costume looks very similar. It's not as bedazzled, but it looks so similar. And Bronwyn is getting into the Sprinter van. She's like, people think this would be embarrassing to me, and I'm embarrassed, and I would be embarrassed, but I am not wearing this hot dog costume. Mary Cosby and Meredith are walking to the Sprinter van, and Mary's like, it's so cold out here. And Mary's like, I don't even know what she's laughing about. Mary's saying it's cold. It's very witty. It's very witty, Mary. Mary in a talking to goes, the heart coat, that's fashion. Now remember, she wore that heart coat at the Bezos party, the first episode. But Mary Cosby says the hot dog outfit, that's costume. That ain't couture. That's costume. So Whitney has like this pink sparkly dress on and pink boots, comes on. She's like, who's ready for a gay bar? Let's do this. We get to This Is It, which is Trixie Mattel's bar in Milwaukee. And Mary Cosby goes, oh, Lord, have mercy, be with me. So they get out. There's a big line. Everybody's excited. I thought Trixie Mattel here, but it's a Trixie Mattel impersonator, which I was like, oh, wow, cool. Because I thought Trixie Mattel would be here, but it's just the impersonator. And the impersonator waves them in through the big line. They're like, right this way, ladies. They go in. This place is everybody's partying. There's drag queens doing performances. People are throwing money. I mean, it really is packed. It looks fun. And when he goes, my love and fascination for drag started when I was a little girl. Whitney does have a lot of amazing interests. Harley Davidson, drag shows, Justin, Alibaba. Anyways, Whitney's on stage with her phone. She's like, Milwaukee. She says, I think I was about 8 years old. I was in Palm Springs with my dad, and a drag queen walked down the street. And, like being like a little sheltered Utah Mormon girl, that was like shocking to me. She tells the crowd, thank you for allowing me to bring a few of my closest friends, not Lisa Barlow. My fascination with drag really began, and then I started seeking it out. And they're all dancing up on stage. Because drag shows bring the community together, and it's a safe place for people to express themselves and express love. And I just love supporting drag queens. Always have. I love this. That is a positive thing. It really is this inclusive place. And I think it's been politicized where it's made it something so insane and not what it's actually about, when it's about a celebration of a lot of things. So I love this part of Whitney. Anyways, Heather screams at Whitney, we love you, Whitney Rose. And then when he's like, we're going to have a dance off. And everybody's like, yeah. So we're going to see all the housewives dance. And Whitney's like, I'm going to need all my besties up on stage with me. And Angie like twirls up. We got Lisa Barlow up there. And Lisa's like first up. And she's like, I'm Lisa Barlow. I'm dancing. Here I'm going, shaking it to side to side. Oh, yeah. Next up, Brittany. And Brittany's like tossing her hair back and forth, like, yeah. Next up, Angie Katsunavis. And then Angie's just, I don't know. It's like me when I dance. I don't know if this is a Greek dance. And Heather just keeps screaming out, Queen, 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 Queen. Heather says, in a talking head, we've definitely had our moments on this trip till Milwaukee. And actually, Mary gets up. They're like, go, Mary. And Mary's like, yeah, what's going on? Yeah. And everybody's shouting, Mary, Mary. And Mary's like flaunting it, like, hip to the side, pose, hip to the side, pose. And she's like getting into it. She's like, yeah. And Heather's like, but we've had a great time and we've made all of our Milwaukee dreams come true. And everybody's still screaming, Mary, Mary. And then Heather says, and we did it our way. Laverne and Shirley would be proud. So all the ladies are like waving from the stage. Next time on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We're back in Utah. And you guys, we're doing another zip line. We had the ropes course and now we're at a zip line. Let's go back to Milwaukee. We see them do a zip line. They're all freaking out doing this zip line. Mary Cosby says, why did I wear white? And then we have a scene where Angie is telling Heather, I don't let my daughter stay up till 2 a.m. playing video games like Lisa. And then we have a scene of Lisa going, that's a fucking low blow. I don't know who that scene's with. And then we have a scene with Jared Osmond and Brittany, and Jared going, I don't think I deserve to get broken up with via text. I'm a fucking Osmond. I don't deserve that shit. And then another scene with Brittany saying, what you did might have ruined it forever. And Lisa, it's a scene with Lisa, and she's like, you're not even his girlfriend. And Brittany going, stay out of it. So obviously she thinks Lisa might have screwed up her best friendship with Jared Osmond. What a show, folks. But we're not done yet because I want to go over a couple of social media posts that these ladies made yesterday on the old Twitter, X, whatever we call it, doom scroll. And because they get it's the show, and then it's also like they have to get on Twitter and start fighting with each other on Twitter. And that's another place to kind of pay attention to because it kind of extends the arguments. And I do wonder if they're tweeting for themselves or they have somebody else doing it for them. I believe Lisa tweets for herself, but Lisa, I've said this before, she is on it, man. She is always paying attention to anything with her name on it on social media. Okay, so there was one big there was one tweet during the episode. I guess Angie Katsunavis was wearing like heart earrings at the Harley Davidson place, and Lisa Barlow took a picture of that, and Lisa Barlow had the same earrings like earlier and saying like, glad I could provide you with inspiration or something. And now Angie Katsunavis fired back at Lisa Barlow and said, yes, you also inspired me to use my own money to grow my business instead of taking out millions of dollars in loans from gentlemen in Park City and never paying them back. And then did the emoji of painting the nails. And then she continued and she says, by the way, I borrowed these earrings from Electra. She got them on Amazon for $12.99. Glad you got them too. So Angie going twice as hard at Lisa in that Twitter exchange, but I guess they're not doing well, Lisa and Angie. Okay, folks, that is it. It is almost 2 a.m. It has been a day. I got doctor's appointments tomorrow, and I might be a little late on the OC recap, but just enjoy the Salt Lake recap. But the OC recap out some point on Saturday because it's a great episode, and I can't wait to talk about it. But thank you so much for being with us here today. If you get a chance, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Shout out to all my baddies on my Patreon, and I'll tell you more about that Us Weekly party. I got to go look through my audio and video and see what I got, see what's usable, and I'll tell you more about that later. Have a great Friday, you guys. You made it. You made it to the end of the week. I didn't think you could do it. I didn't think I could do it, but we did it. Love you guys. Bye.